Every morning, I wake up at 5:55, not because I choose to, but because my body demands it. Decades of chasing stories, racing against deadlines before the presses roared to life, have carved a rhythm into me. At 78, my internal clock still ticks on, stubborn as ever. I sit on the edge of my bed in my little house in Willow Creek, Oregon, waiting for the stiffness in my back to soften. The pain is a constant companion, a dull ache that sharpens with every move. I take a deep breath, steady my hands on the mattress, and push myself up. One step at a time, I whisper to myself, one step at a time. My name is Beatrice Thompson, but everyone calls me B. I've lived in this house by the lake for nearly 20 years. Ever since I retired from a career that was my whole world. I was a journalist, an investigative reporter, who dug into the shadows and asked questions others shied away from. In 1987, I won a Pulitzer for exposing a corporate scandal that poisoned a town's water supply. My stories made headlines, hung framed in newsrooms, and echoed in courtrooms. But that feels like another life. Now, I'm just B, the old lady, with a bad back, and a hearing aid that hums when the batteries run low. My house is small, but it's mine. It's a kind of museum, filled with relics from my past. On the living room wall hangs a faded photograph of me at my desk at the New York Times, hunched over my Underwood typewriter, a cigarette dangling from my lips. Beside it, a glass case holds my Pulitzer medal, its gold surface scratched but still catching the soft morning light. My desk sits by the window overlooking the lake, cluttered with old notebooks, yellowed newspaper clippings, and that typewriter I haven't touched in years. I keep telling myself I'll finish my memoir, put those stories down before they slip away, but the pain in my hands slows me down. Some days, I wonder if anyone would even care to read it this morning though. There's a quiet spark in the air. I shuffled to my desk, my cane tapping softly on the hardwood floor, and opened my laptop. The screen flickers on, and there it is, an email from Maya Chen, a young editor at the Oregonian. Dear Miss Thompson, it begins, formal and respectful, in a way that brings a smile to my face. Maya's working on an investigative piece about a local factory, and she's stumbled across my articles from the 1980s, the ones that set the bar for exposing environmental cover. She wants my insight, my expertise. Your work inspired me to become a journalist, she writes. I read that line again, feeling a warmth bloom in my chest. It's been years since anyone asked me for anything more than a comment on the weather. I lean back in my chair, gazing out at the lake. The water is calm at this hour, a mirror for the gray dawn. Willow Creek is a quiet town, the kind where everyone knows your name, where life moves at a gentle pace. Mr. Jenkins across the street is already tending his roses. Mrs. Cotter jogs past with her golden retriever, giving a quick wave. They're good people, but they don't know the woman who once met whistleblowers in dimly lit diners, who typed stories that brought down powerful men. To them, I'm just B, the widow by the lake. My mind wanders to my family, or what's left of it. My husband Henry passed 10 years ago, a heart attack, sudden and cruel, while we sat on our porch watching the sunset. He was my rock, the one who read every draft, who believed in me when I doubted myself. Without him, the house feels too big, too silent. And then there's Rebecca, my daughter. She's 55 now, with a life of her own. She lives just 20 minutes away, but her visits are scarce, her calls even scarcer. When we do speak, there's a distance in her voice, an impatience that wasn't always there. I raised her to be strong, to stand on her own, but somewhere along the way, we drifted apart. I don't know when it happened, or how, but I feel it, like a crack in a foundation you only see when the house starts to lean. I glance back at Maya's email, my fingers hovering over the keyboard. I want to reply, to step back into the world of deadlines and truth-telling, but doubt creeps in. What do I have left to give? My eyes aren't as sharp, my hands tremble when I type too long, and my hearing aid turns conversations into a guessing game. But then I look at the Pulitzer on the shelf, at the typewriter that carried me through 1,000 stories, and I think, maybe there's still something in me. Maybe I'm not finished yet. The phone rings, cutting through the quiet. It's loud enough to pierce the muffled world my hearing aid creates. I pick it up, expecting a telemarketer, or maybe Mrs. Carter checking in. Mom, it's Rebecca. Her voice is clipped, businesslike, as if I'm an item on her to-do list. My heart lifts for a moment, then sinks. We're having a picnic by the lake this Saturday. You should come. Emma's been asking about you. I pause, picturing my granddaughter, Emma, 5 years old, with her bright eyes and endless curiosity. I haven't seen her in months. Rebecca doesn't say it outright, but I hear the undertone. This is an obligation, not an invitation. Still, I say yes. For Emma, and maybe for a chance to mend something broken between us. As I hang up, I look out at the lake again. The sun is rising now, painting golden ripples across the water. I think about Maya's email, about the picnic, about the life I've lived, and the one I'm still living. There's a story here, I know it, not just in the articles I wrote or the scandals I uncovered, but in me. In the woman I am now, at 78, still searching for meaning, still hoping to be seen. Rebecca's call stays with me all week, like a song I can't shake. Her words, quick and clipped, echo in my head. You should come. Emma's been asking about you. I want to believe her. I do. My granddaughter, Emma, is 5 years old, with a laugh that could light up the darkest room. But the truth is, I haven't seen her in months. Rebecca's invitations always feel like an afterthought, like she's checking off a box labeled, "Call Mom." Still, I hold on to a sliver of hope that this picnic will be different. Maybe we'll find a way to talk, to bridge the gap that's grown between us over the years. It's Friday now, the day before the picnic. I stand in front of my closet, my cane propped against the wall, trying to pick out something to wear. My wardrobe is practical these days: loose blouses, soft cardigans, pants that don't press against my aching back. I choose a cotton dress, pale blue, simple but nice enough for a family gathering. It's light and comfortable, perfect for a warm day by the lake. I catch my reflection in the mirror. My silver hair is pulled back in a loose bun, my face etched with wrinkles that tell stories of late nights and hard-won truths. My eyes, though, are still sharp, still searching. Even if my hearing aid makes the world sound like it's coming through a fog, I turn to my desk, where a small package sits wrapped in tissue paper. It's a gift for Emma, leather-bound journal, one I used back in my reporting days. It's worn but beautiful, its pages filled with my scribbled notes from stories long forgotten. I've tucked a few handwritten tales inside, stories I wrote for Emma about brave women who changed the world. I picture her opening it, her small hands tracing the leather, her eyes wide with wonder. Maybe it's foolish, giving a 5-year something so grown up, but I want her to know who her grandmother was, who I still am. Saturday morning dawns bright and clear. I'm up early, as always, my back grumbling as I move through my routine. Coffee, toast, a quick glance at my laptop. Maya Chen hasn't replied yet, but I've saved a draft of my response, offering to meet her next week to discuss her investigation. It feels good to be needed, to know my work still matters to someone. I close the laptop and focus on the day ahead. Rebecca said she'd pick me up at noon, but I know her well enough to expect her at 12:15, maybe later. Punctuality was never her thing. When the doorbell rings at 12:10, I'm caught off guard. I open the door to find Rebecca, her dark hair pulled into a tight ponytail, her face set in that familiar mix of impatience and duty. "Morning, Mom," she says, barely looking at me. She's dressed in a crisp white blouse and khaki shorts, every inch the polished real estate agent she's become. "You ready? We're running late." I nod, grabbing my cane and Emma's gift. My hearing aid hums faintly, and I adjust it, hoping it holds up through the noise of the picnic. The drive to the lake is short, just 10 minutes, but it feels like an eternity. Rebecca fills the silence with talk about her work, houses, picky clients, the housing market. I try to ask about Emma, about how she's doing in kindergarten, but Rebecca brushes me off. "She's fine, Mom, busy as ever." I stare out the window, watching the lake shimmer in the distance. I wonder when we stopped knowing how to talk to each other. Was it when she was a teenager, angry about my long hours at the newsroom? Or, later, when she built a life that seemed to leave no space for me? We pull into the parking lot near the lake, already packed with cars. The picnic is in full swing. Kids running around, music blaring, the smell of charcoal and grilled burgers thick in the air. Rebecca leads me to a grassy area dotted with picnic tables, her steps quick, as if she's eager to hand me off. I move slowly, my cane sinking into the soft ground, my back protesting with every step. No one offers to help, and I don't ask. I've learned to manage on my own. Rebecca's husband, Greg, spots us and waves. He's a tall man, friendly enough, but his smiles always feel rehearsed. "Hey B," he calls, flipping a burger on the grill. Good to see you. I nod, easing myself into a folding chair, near the edge of the gathering. The chair is low, hard to get out of, but it's the only one free. I set Emma's gift on the table beside me, scanning the crowd for her. She's playing near the water with other kids, her pigtails bouncing. As she laughs, I wave, but she doesn't notice. Rebecca vanishes into a group of women, all holding wine glasses and chattering about book clubs and yoga retreats. I catch bits of their conversation, but my hearing aid struggles to keep up. I feel like an outsider, like I've wandered into someone else's story. These are Rebecca's people, her friends, her world. I don't belong here, not really. I try to push the thought away, reminding myself I'm here for Emma, for family. But the word family feels empty, like a promise that's been broken too many times. Then I hear a voice, warm and familiar. Grandma B. It's Liam, my grandson, 25 and full of life. He bounds over, his dark hair messy, a grin spreading across his face. He's the only one in this family who seems to see me, really see me. I didn't know you were coming, he says, pulling up a chair. How's the writing going? Still working on that memoir? I smile, warmed by his interest. Liam's a graphic designer, creative and curious, always asking about my days as a reporter. We talk for a while, and it's easy, like slipping into a favorite sweater. I tell him about Maya's email, about the young editor who wants my advice. Liam's eyes light up. That's amazing. Grandma, you're a legend in journalism. They should be begging for your help. I laugh, but his words touch something deep inside me. For a moment, I feel like the old bee, the one who chased stories and changed lives. Liam asks about my favorite investigation, the one that led to the Pulitzer. And I'm halfway through the story when Rebecca interrupts. Mom, you're not boring Liam with your old newsroom tales, are you? She says, her tone light but edged with something sharp. She hands me a plastic cup of lemonade, the ice clinking against the sides. Here, drink this, it's hot out. I take the cup, my fingers brushing hers, but she's already turning away, back to her friends. Liam gives me a small, apologetic smile, as if to say he understands, but how could he? He's caught in the middle, loving us both. Trying not to pick sides, I sip the lemonade, watching the lake sparkle under the sun. The picnic hums around me, laughter, chatter, the splash of kids jumping into the water. I try to join in, to feel part of it, but I can't shake the sense that I'm invisible. Rebecca's friends don't glance my way. Greg's busy at the grill, surrounded by men talking about sports and cars. Even Emma, my reason for being here, is too caught up in her games to notice me. I clutch the gift for her, the journal, and wonder if it'll end up forgotten in a drawer, like so many of my efforts with this family. I look at Liam, still sitting beside me, and feel a pang of gratitude. He's asking about the time I went undercover to expose a corrupt politician, his eyes wide with interest. I start to answer, but my hearing aid gives a faint whistle, a warning that the battery's low. I adjust it, hoping it lasts the day. The lake glitters in the distance, beautiful but unforgiving. I can't help but feel a knot in my stomach, a quiet warning that something's coming, something I'm not ready for. The picnic buzzes around me, a blur of laughter, clinking glasses, and the sizzle of burgers on the grill. I sit in my low folding chair, clutching the plastic cup of lemonade, my cane resting against the table. The ground is uneven, grassy patches giving way to soft dirt, and every move I make sends a sharp twinge through my back. I feel out of place, like a stranger in a crowd that's supposed to be my family. Rebecca's voice carries over from the group of women she's with, talking about a new boutique in town. Greg's at the grill, joking with his buddies about last night's game. Emma's still playing by the lake, her giggles floating back to me, but she hasn't looked my way. I set the lemonade down, careful not to spill it, and rest my hands on the gift for her, the journal I spent days preparing. I tell myself I'm here for her, but the knot in my stomach tightens. Nobody offers to help me navigate the uneven ground. Nobody notices how my cane sinks into the dirt, how I shift in my chair to ease the pain in my back. I'm invisible, or at least I feel that way. The music is loud, some pop song I don't recognize, and my hearing aid struggles to filter it out. Conversations around me blur into a hum, words, half caught like whispers from another room. I try to focus on the lake, its surface sparkling under the midday sun. It's beautiful, but there's something cold about it, something that makes me uneasy. Liam's still beside me, though, and that's a small comfort. He's asking about the time I went undercover to expose a corrupt city official, his eyes bright with curiosity. I'm mid-sentence, telling him about the diner where I met my source, when I feel a presence behind me. Mom, you're not still going on about your old stories, are you? Rebecca's voice cuts through, light but sharp, like a blade wrapped in silk. She's standing over me, a bottle of water in her hand, her smile tight. You should mingle. Meet some people. It's a party, not a history lesson. I force a smile, but it feels brittle. Liam looks down, uncomfortable, caught between us. I was just telling Liam about, I start. But Rebecca's already turning away, waving at someone across the lawn. Sure, Mom, she says over her shoulder. Just don't bore everyone. The words sting, more than they should. I've heard them before, variations of the same tune, my stories. My life, reduced to something tedious, something to be endured. I take a sip of lemonade, the ice now melted, and try to push the hurt down. The afternoon drags on. The sun beats down, hot and unrelenting, and my dress clings to my skin. My hearing aid starts to whistle, a faint, high-pitched sound that means the battery's dying. I adjust it, but it doesn't help much. The conversations around me, office gossip, car reviews, politics, feel like a foreign language. I'm an anthropologist studying a tribe I'll never understand. I watch Emma playing near the lake, chasing a ball with the other kids. I want to go to her, to give her the journal, but the ground between us looks like a minefield, littered with toys and chairs. My back won't let me risk it, not without help. I wave again, hoping she'll see me, but she's too caught up in her game. Liam notices my gaze. Want me to get Emma for you, Grandma? He asks, his voice kind. I shake my head. Let her play, I say. She's happy, but the truth is, I'm afraid to interrupt her joy. Afraid she'll look at me with those big eyes and see just an old woman she barely knows. Liam nods, but he stays close, like he's guarding me from the crowd. I'm grateful for him, for the way he listens, but even his presence can't fill the emptiness I feel here. I decide to move, to stretch my legs, to do something other than sit and feel like a ghost. I grip my cane and stand slowly, my back screaming in protest. The lake is just a few yards away, bordered by a low wooden fence, its water glinting in the sunlight. I shuffle toward it, careful to avoid the dips in the ground. I'm almost there, when I hear Rebecca's voice, loud and teasing. Hey Mom, you thinking about a swim? I turn to look at her, confused, and that's when it happens. A push, firm and deliberate, right between my shoulder blades. My cane slips from my hand, clattering to the ground. The world tilts, and I'm falling. The lake hits me like a wall, cold and shocking, stealing my breath. Water floods my nose. My mouth stings my eyes. My dress, heavy now, drags me down. My hearing aid screeches, a piercing sound, then goes silent. I flail, my arms weak, my back seizing with pain. The water's not deep, but it doesn't matter. My legs won't work. My joints locked in agony. I'm sinking, panicking, my heart pounding in my chest. I break the surface, gasping, clawing at the air. Through the blur of water in my eyes, I see faces. Rebecca, Greg, their friends watching me, laughing. Rebecca's standing at the edge, holding my cane, a grin on her face. Chill out, Mom, she calls, and the crowd erupts in laughter. Someone's phone is out, recording, capturing my humiliation. Look at her go, a voice says, like a fish out of water. Another chimes in. The words cut deeper than the cold water, sharper than the pain in my back. I try to reach the edge, my fingers slipping on the slick wood. My dress tangles around my legs, heavy as a shroud. I can't get out. I can't help, I whisper, but my voice is lost in the laughter. My hearing aid is dead, the world muffled, like I'm underwater in more ways than one. I'm Beatrice Thompson, the woman who brought down corporations, who won a Pulitzer, and here I am, floundering in a lake while my own daughter laughs. The shame burns hotter than the chlorine in my eyes. I'm a spectacle, a joke, an old woman who doesn't belong. Then, suddenly, there's a splash. Liam's in the water, fully clothed, his arms strung around me. Hold on, Grandma, he says, his voice steady, close enough that I can hear it, despite my broken hearing aid. I've got you. He pulls me to the edge, his hands gentle, but firm, and Greg finally steps in to help lift me onto the grass. I collapse onto a nearby chair, shivering, water dripping from my hair, my nose, my dress. The laughter fades, replaced by awkward coughs and murmurs of concern. But it's too late. The damage is done. Rebecca hurries over, a towel in her hand. God, Mom, it was just a joke, she says, her tone defensive. You're fine, right? I don't answer. I can't. My dress clings to my skin, outlining the frail body I've always hidden under. Loose clothes. The journal for Emma, still on the table, is soaked. The tissue paper ruined. My hearing aid is silent, useless. I feel stripped bare, not just of my dignity but of the hope I'd carried to this picnic. I want to go home, I say, my voice hoarse, foreign even to me. Rebecca frowns, her hands on her hips. But we haven't even eaten yet. Emma wanted to show you her new kite. I shake my head, harder this time. I want to go home. The words come out sharp, cutting through the chatter around us. Everyone's watching now, their eyes heavy with judgment, as if I'm the one who's ruined the fun. I'll drive you, Grandma, Liam offers, still dripping wet. Rebecca steps in, her voice firm. No, Liam, I'll take her. You stay and enjoy the party. She speaks about me like I'm not here, like I'm a package to be delivered. Liam helps me stand, my cane slippery in my hand, my legs trembling from cold and pain. As we walk to the car, I hear Greg mutter to someone. She always makes a scene. Rebecca's friends nod, their whispers like needles in my skin. Emma runs up as we pass the kids' area. Grandma B, why are you wet? She asks, her eyes wide with innocence. I try to smile, but it feels like a grimace. I fell in the lake. Sweetheart, I say. It's no big deal. Rebecca cuts in, her voice bright and false. Grandma's just tired, Emma. She needs to go home and dry off. Liam shoots his mother a look, but he doesn't say anything. We keep walking, my wet dress heavy, my back throbbing with every step. Rebecca opens the car door for me, but she doesn't offer her hand. She doesn't ask if I'm okay. She just walks to the driver's side, her shoulders tense, her silence loud with irritation. Liam leans in through the window. I'll call you tomorrow, Grandma, he says, his voice soft. I'll check on you. I nod, too exhausted to speak, grateful for his kindness, but too raw to hold on to it. As Rebecca starts the car, I feel the weight of the day settle into my bones. The lake fades behind us, but the image of those laughing faces, of Rebecca holding my cane with that grin, stays with me. I'm not just wet and cold, I'm broken. In a way, I didn't know I could still break. The days after the picnic blur into a haze of pain and silence. I spend them in bed, my body fighting a cold that feels like it's tearing me apart. The chill of the lake lingered in my bones, turning my back into a constant throb, my joints into knots of agony. The bruises on my arms and legs bloom dark, purple, then fade to sickly yellow, a map of my humiliation. My hearing aid, as I feared, is ruined, leaving the world muffled, like I'm trapped under glass. I can hear the phone ring, the doorbell chime, but voices are a jumbled mess. Part of me wonders if it's better this way. At least I won't hear Rebecca's sharp remarks or Greg's forced pleasantries, but the physical pain is nothing compared to the ache in my heart. I lie awake at night, replaying the picnic at Tlafta. Rebecca's grin as she held my cane, the crowd's phones capturing my floundering. I'm Beatrice Thompson, I tell myself, the woman who won a Pulitzer, who faced down corrupt officials, yet there I was, reduced to a joke in my own daughter's eyes. The journal I made for Emma, soaked and ruined, sits on my nightstand, a reminder of my failed effort to connect. I feel shipwrecked, tossed onto the shore of a life that seems to have no place for me. By the fourth day, I force myself to get up. I've survived worse than this: death threats, lawsuits, nights when I thought I'd never make deadline. A cold and a few bruises won't defeat me now. I make strong coffee, black with a splash of honey, the way my mother used to, and sit at my desk. Maya Chun's email is still open on my laptop, unanswered. I reread it, her words a lifeline. Your work inspired me. I start typing a reply, my hand shaking but determined. I offer to meet her, to share what I know. It's a small act, but it feels like reclaiming a piece of myself. The phone rings, loud enough to cut through my muffled world. It's Liam, his name flashing on the screen. Grandma, how are you feeling? His voice is faint but clear enough to make out. I've been better, I say honestly, but I'll manage. He apologizes for the picnic, for not stopping it sooner. It was messed up, Grandma. I'm so sorry. His words bring tears to my eyes, but I blink them away. You were there when I needed you, I tell him. That's enough. We talk a bit longer about his job, his girlfriend, his plans for the summer. When we hang up, I feel a flicker of warmth, like a candle in a dark room. A week later, I'm stronger, though my back still aches more than usual. I need a new hearing aid, so I call Dr. Larson, my audiologist. He can't see me for a few days, but he confirms the old one's beyond repair. A new one will cost $2,000, with insurance covering only a fraction. I write a check for the down payment, my hand steady despite the cost. Dr. Thompson, the receptionist, says as I leave, "You're still a legend around here." The title warms me, a reminder of who I was, who I still am, back home. I check the mailbox, expecting bills and junk flyers. But there's something else, a yellowed envelope, postmarked 30 years ago, addressed to me in my mother's elegant handwriting. My breath catches. How did this get here? I carry it inside, hands trembling, and slice it open. The letter is short, but its words hit like a thunderbolt. My mother writes about Rebecca, about how she felt abandoned during my long hours at the newsroom, how she cried herself to sleep when I missed her school plays. She loves you, B. My mother wrote, but she's hurting. Find a way to reach her before it's too late. I sit there, stunned, tears streaming down my face. All these years, I thought Rebecca's distance was her choice, her rejection of me. But it started with my choices, my ambition, my absence. The realization is a knife, but it's also a key. I see now that our rift isn't just about her cruelty or my age, it's rooted in wounds we both carry. I know what I have to do. I call Rebecca, my voice steady despite my racing heart. "We need to talk," I say when she answers, her tone wary. In person, she hesitates, then agrees to come over Sunday. I spend the next day preparing, not just for our talk, but for something bigger. The Oregonian has invited me to a journalism symposium, a gathering of young reporters eager to learn from me. I'm nervous, but I say yes. It's time to step back into the world that shaped me. Sunday comes, and Rebecca arrives, her face guarded. I set out tea, the steam curling between us. "I found a letter from Grandma," I say, sliding it across the table. "Read it." She skims it, her expression shifting from confusion to something softer. "Roar." "I didn't know," she whispers. I take a deep breath. "I wasn't there for you, Rebecca. I was chasing stories, thinking I was making the world better, but I missed so much of you. I'm sorry." She looks away, tears in her eyes. "You were never around, Mom. And now, you act like I'm the bad guy for living my life." Her voice cracks, and I see the little girl she used to be, waiting for me to come home, but pushing me into the lake. I say gently, laughing while I struggle, "That wasn't a joke. It was cruel. I deserve respect, not just as your mother, but as a person." She flinches, but she doesn't argue. For the first time, we talk, really talk. It's messy, painful, but it's a start. I don't expect miracles, but I see a crack in the wall between us, a chance to rebuild. The symposium is a week later, and it's like stepping back in time. The room is packed with journalists, young and old, their notebooks open, their eyes on me. Maya Chen introduces me, calling me a trailblazer, and the applause catches me off guard. Warm, genuine, lasting. I speak about my career, about the stories that changed me, about the cost of truth. I share a piece of my memoir, the part about balancing ambition and family, and I see heads nod, eyes glisten. A young reporter asks me to sign her copy of my old book, reissued by a university press. "You changed how I see journalism," she says. I sign it, my hands steady, my heart full. I decide to write a new article, weaving my story with lessons from my career, hoping to inspire others. I invite Rebecca and Liam to a small gathering at my house, where I read from my memoir and share my mother's letter. Rebecca listens, her eyes soft, and afterward, she hugs me, a real hug, the kind we haven't shared in years. "I want to try, Mom," she says. Liam smiles, proud, and I feel something I haven't in a long time: hope. Looking back, I see the lake not as a place of shame, but as a turning point. It forced me to face the truth about my family, about myself. I learned that healing isn't just about forgiving others, it's about forgiving yourself, about choosing to live with dignity, no matter your age. We all carry wounds, some hidden, some raw, but we also carry stories. Mine isn't over yet. I'm still B. Thompson, still writing, still searching for truth, and maybe, just maybe, I'm finding my way back to my family, one honest word at a time. And that's my story, or at least this chapter of it. But what about you? I've learned that we all carry stories, some of triumph, some of pain, some still waiting to be told. If you've ever felt unseen, pushed aside by those who should know you best, or if you've found your way back to yourself through a passion or a truth you thought you'd lost, I'd love to hear about it. Share your story with us in the comments below. Let's remind each other that our lives, our experiences, are never just relics of the past. They're the foundation of who we are and who we can still become. Keep writing your story, no matter your age. It's never too late to be seen.